Hey guys, I'm really excited to show you something that's going to creep you out. Maybe it's going to freak you out, I don't know. But this is what happens when you visit my website or one of my clients' websites. But just watch the video. Hi guys, I'm Paul Potratz and welcome to this week's Think Tank Tuesday. You've heard me talk about this topic before, and I'm not going to say the topic, what it's called, the technology, the software, because you will automatically assume, oh, I already know what that is, but you probably don't know. But before we started the video, we debated, should we use the word creep or freak? And I'd love for you to just put it in the comments. Does this creep you out, freak you out, or do something else weird to you, okay? All right, so what I'm showing you right now, you're probably wondering why I have a screen behind me. And the whole reason I have a screen is because if seeing is believing. So if you look right here to the far left where it says displaying 25 of 301,183 total contacts. So this is running in the back end of my website. So if you go to Potratz NY, which we'll put that on the screen because I want you to go to the website because maybe you can experience this magic. Yeah, we'll use magic. So what this really is it's a technology that a lot of larger companies are using, companies that are driven by sales. Companies that what they're doing is they have this technology on their website and then they create content, much like we do, where we create videos on our website, we send out an email, we drive you to the website. And the whole reason that we're doing that is we're watching what I like to call your digital body language. Say that with me, digital body language. So it's really easy. We're establishing a fingerprint of who you are, what you're interested in, your social media profile. We're really trying to understand who you are. What we're really doing, if we get really technical with it, is we're nurturing you. That's what a salesperson should do, right? The ideal salesperson would nurture a prospect, bring them into the warm lead status, hot lead status, and then sell them. Well, that's what we're doing with software, and we've been doing this for years. So what it does is it really eliminates the waste for a salesperson of talking to that cold lead, that person that's not ready to buy. So again, 301,183 people are in our database for Potratz. And so I'm going to show you kind of the list here. You can see like Steve Miller, Miller Honda. We'll be sure and tag him in our Facebook post. Neil Brewer, Hughes Honda. Larry, missing, but so it just kind of goes down. David Duncan, which is a client. David, we love you. It just goes down. Mario, Jose. But these are all individuals, and you can see that we're scoring them with a lead score based on their behavior on our website. They come to our website, they open an email, we start giving them more, I guess you can say, value is what it is. But you can see that where they came in, like a campaign, where it all started, where the creepiness, the freakiness, and the magic started to happen. I put out a video, it said, steal my secrets. So apparently Steve Miller from Miller Honda wanted to steal my secrets, and came into my ecosystem. We'll call it an ecosystem because that's really what it is. But let me show you what I can see about these individuals. And see, anytime you see a picture of them, what I've done is, what the technology has done is it's gone out on the World Wide Web, thanks to Al Gore, and it's found their social media profile. And when I mean social media, it's found their Facebook profile, their Twitter profile, their LinkedIn profile, up to all three or maybe just one of them, and it started to pull that information in. So now we know them socially, we know when they're visiting our website. I hope this is making sense, but it's all gonna come together. We can understand what's important to them based on the content that we're creating, and then as we start to see their behavior, in other words, their digital body language, their interest, we can start to create more of that content, put those individuals into a group. So my case in point, let's say, for example, Neil Brewer of Hughes Honda is really interested in social media marketing. Well, we can put him into a group of everybody else that's interested in social media marketing, and instead of us spraying and praying with emails, in other words, a mass email, Neil and the other however many thousands of people in our database that have shown that behavior, that interest, or that trend, we would send emails specific to social media marketing. So Neil and everyone else is getting emails that's based on their interest, their wants, their needs, what they're trying to learn. Hold up for a minute. Think about that in your own marketing. That you're a business, whatever type of business you are, let's say that you're an insurance company. Wouldn't it make sense to talk to people that are interested in home insurance, that actually own a home, and you could find out that behavior, and then talk to the people that are renters and rental insurance instead of doing a mass email and throwing it out there and just hoping something sticks? That's the problem with the majority of marketing strategies, is we just spray and pray, throw it out there and see what sticks. That's why we're wasting so much money. All right, so let me show you specifically what's happening based on an individual level. So if I go here, and I'm going to pull this up, we already have the tab show. I'm showing you Steve with Zumbretta Ford. I think I said that right. I hope I did, Steve. But Steve came into my system 3 years ago. That's where I was developing content. Well, I'm always developing content, creating content. But he came in contact with some video that I did or a blog article or whatever it is. So he came to my website and I was able to capture his information. And I can do that a few different ways. A, if I have an email database, let's say a database that's already, my database from whatever, and I send Steve an email, he comes to my website, I connect the two things together. But let's say that Steve came to my website and I had some piece of content, and when I say content, again, it can be a video, it can be a blog article, it can be anything where he gives me his information. And then so Steve came to my website 3 years ago, and I was able to capture his information for whatever reason I did it. But I've also found out, I've got his picture, I have his LinkedIn profile, and his Facebook profile, so I'm able to understand more about Steve and his social behavior. I can also monitor what his social interaction is, what he's saying on social media. So that will help me determine a better strategy, because he might be saying something on LinkedIn or Facebook, and then when he comes to my website, I can talk to him specifically about what he talked about in that social media profile. Is that getting creepy for you or what? But that's just pure sexy. All right, so if I click on Life of the Lead for Steve, you can see what's happening. So right here, I've got an email that went October 20th, 3 years ago. Here's the email, and then I can just keep on. You can see on the 23rd, I sent another email, on the 27th another email. It sounds like I'm spamming him. But with the technology, if you're building your strategy properly, you know exactly how many emails to send, how many not to send, just based on their behavior. And I'm going to show you a diagram in a second that's going to explain it even more. Because my point I'm trying to make is the individuals visiting my website, they, just stick with me, this is going to be a mind twister for you. When an individual visits my website, they determine the frequency of the emails going out. Not always, but generally always. And what I mean by that, the more active that they are on my website, the more times that they open my email, the more times they click a link in my email, the more times they visit my website, that tells me more or less in the scoring of that individual how motivated they are. So let me kind of give you a story. Let me explain what I mean by that. Let's assume that you're a salesperson and you have that lead that comes into your system, that lead reaches out to you, fills in a lead form, and you call them and they answer the phone. You have a conversation, and then you get to a point and you're like, okay, I'm going to give you a call back tomorrow. And they, okay, give me a call tomorrow. You call them tomorrow, they answer the phone, you have a conversation. Okay, give me a call this evening. Okay, great. So as a human being, when we're doing the sales process, if we're doing it properly, we know the cadence, the frequency that we need to keep contacting that person to move them to a sale. That's what the technology is doing. So based on their activity level, their interest, how hot they are will determine on how much of a response they get. So it's never spam. Well, I wouldn't say never, because you can definitely abuse the system, but it's based on their behavior. So I hope that all cleared that up. So you can see on October 30th right here where he visited the website, this is a video that Samantha created. He went and he watched the video. And then the next one, the email here on the 30th, and then the next email that went again on the 4th, on November 4th. So you can see the spacing, because it can be determined on the amount of time that he spent on the website. Maybe he didn't watch the entire video. So we can create any series of, not really series, but kind of a series. I'll tell you what, you get the idea, but let me show you specifically what a strategy will look like. And but I'm going to give you a strategy for a dealership that we've created, and this is probably going to give you a headache, but just trust me on this, and you'll see what it looks like. So right here where it starts, where it says start, right at the very top, it says list pulled individuals that purchased a vehicle 3 years ago. So we pulled a database of everyone that bought a car 3 years ago. And what we're wanting to do is we want to re-engage them. And really, to make it simple, is they have equity in their existing vehicle. So we pull that database, we send them an email, and the email is very specific that we're asking them to trade in their vehicle. I mean, it's all about good subject lines and good copywriting. But we're telling them, hey, your vehicle's worth more than you think. Go find out what your vehicle's worth, and we'll give you more than it's worth. Well, you get my point. So that's right here. This is the email 1 sent. So it's to drive them to a trade-in page on the website to establish the value. So they can do a couple of different things. They go to the page, for example, and then if they go to the page, you can see how it goes here and comes over here. So it says page visit right here, page visit value trade. So they actually click the link in the email and went to value their trade. And then if they filled in the form to value the trade, then the dealership's automatically notified that, hey, they filled in a form to value their trade. Go ahead and reach out to them. But this would be a very casual conversation. You wouldn't call them up and go, hey, I see you visited this page. Well, you could if you wanted to, but it would be a casual conversation, the right word track to say, I see that you valued your trade. Boy, that's a tongue twister. I see you valued your trade, so now you continue the conversation. I don't have to tell you how to sell a car. So it goes on, call, and then it's saying that the dealer should call within a 24-hour period. Delay 2 to 3 hours, and then we send them another email that's a resource page that says it's a payment calculator. So you think about it, next logical step, what would a salesperson do? Well, we're telling them, hey, why don't you start to figure out your payments and all that. So here's the entire process. They visit the payment calculator, dealer's tasked to call them again because maybe the dealer couldn't reach them. So now you're understanding their behavior. We send another email that's a rebate form. So we talk about incentives and rebates on new vehicles. Do they go to it? It's delayed. So you can see how the entire process is going through. But let's go back to the top, to the list. Let's say that the person did not click the link in that email, that they did not visit the page. Well, then that's what happens. No visit. So then we delay 1 day. Now we change the conversation up because apparently they're not interested in that. And we're driving them to a trade-in page. So we're saying, hey, trade in your vehicle, find out. And then if they do that, then again, we go back down here, we notify the dealer. If they visited the page but did not fill in the form, in other words, didn't fill in anything that we asked them to fill in, then we delay 1 day and then we send the email. So now you can see, then we'll delay for 2 to 3 days, and then we say drive to a trade-in page with new inventory. If they don't fill in the form, no form fill or page visit, then it's a delay 2 to 3 days, and then we're prompted to call them for an extended warranty because apparently they have a vehicle, they've had it for 3 years, their warranty's getting ready to expire. So let's sell them an extended warranty. So you can kind of see this entire process of how it works together. And really, to just really simplify this, what it really is an ideal salesperson. That a salesperson that can move the conversation to where it needs to go based on the, I guess you can say, the hot buttons of the person. Because if you ask all of the right questions, instead of you doing all the talking, you let that prospect, that customer, that prospective client do the talking, and you just prompt them by a good question, they'll tell you everything you need to know. And that's the beautiful part about marketing automation software. And that's where I told you in the beginning, if I told you it was marketing automation software, you would say, oh yeah, my marketing's automated. That's not what this is. It's known as marketing automation software. It's known as inbound marketing. It's a great technology because I want you to think about this for just a moment. How many people visit your website every month? Is your website getting 5,000 unique visitors once you filter out all the fake traffic and the spam bots and all that you're getting 5,000 real people to your website, or is it 10,000 or is it 20,000? Well, let's say it's 10,000 for easy math that you get to your website. Out of the 10,000 people coming to your website, how many leads and phone calls do you receive where they fill in a lead form or call you? How many do you receive? Is it 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%? I hope you know that question. If you don't, you need to find out. It's probably around 4 to 6% of the 10,000 people that come to your website will actually engage in a conversation with you through a lead form or a phone call. But what this technology will do is it will continue to nurture those individuals, because you don't know where they're at in their life. Something could have happened that, Johnny's got to go to a private school now, so they don't have the extra money for the product or service you offer. Or it was just something they were really hot about and they wanted to do it, and they need a roof on their house, and now they put it on the back burner. And as a salespeople, we're always going for, not we, but salespeople a lot of times are going for the low-hanging fruit. And they're not answering the emails, they're not answering the phone call, and we completely forget about them when we go on to the next person. Well, this type of strategy, this type of software, this type of creating content and creating the emails and creating the dynamic content on your pages, it never stops, it never goes to sleep, it never gets frustrated or loses its motivation. It continues to talk to those individuals for weeks, months, or years. Just like I showed you Steve, we've been talking to him for 3 years, and there's plenty more in there that we've been talking to for 5, 6, and 7 years. That maybe they're not ready for us this month, but maybe it's next month, the month after, even the year after. But regardless, this is the best type of sales staff you can ever have, because you don't have to pay them commissions, and you don't have to beat them over the head and make sure they're making their calls. It just happens. So again, I want you to put in the comments, is this creepy, freaky, sexy? Well, you get my point. It's marketing automation, and I'll see you next week with the next tip. I hope you learned something from this.